Now on YouTube, it's time for some alternative commentary action with the Commentary Hub.
There's headed by Marina, and it's 2-1 to Arsenal.
Look at that pass! Goal for Manchester City!
Takes this corner, whips it in, it's headed and it's a goal, and it's that man, Gabriel.
Liverpool have equalised. Lovely improvisational touch from Curtis Jones.
Oh, what a goal! Wow, take it out!
And a very good evening to you all. You never thought you'd hear me back on TCB Airways again, but I am back. I'm back with a bang, and what a time to make my comeback to TCB. It's been a long time, but we're back for you with the first big major final of the season for you. A curtain raiser, if you like, the UEFA version of the Community Shield as we kick off the new European club season with the UEFA Super Cup involving PSG, who won the Champions League on penalties against Arsenal last year, and they're up against Aston Villa, who won the Europa League so convincingly last season as well. So, tremendous occasion. John McGinn leading out Villa nearer the camera. We're in Austria tonight for this one, in the ground here in Salzburg for Red Bull Salzburg, where they play their home games, of course. The atmosphere is electric here. Lots of Villa fans I've seen in the town square this afternoon. PSG obviously are going to be very big favourites. They've put out a very strong lineup, which I'll talk to you about in a minute. Villa, both teams have won this Super Cup before. Aston Villa won it in 82-83 against Barcelona of two legs. They lost the first leg 1-0 at the Nou Camp to Barcelona, and then won the second leg after extra time 3-0 at Villa Park. In those days, it was over two legs. And of course, PSG actually hold the trophy. They beat Tottenham, another Premier League side, Tottenham Hotspur, on penalties after a 2-2 draw. I should also stress as well, as the teams make their way out onto the pitch, there's going to be no national anthems, incidentally, so I won't be able to pause it too much, the commentary that is. The European Cup on my left, on the left-hand side of the picture, as I'm looking as the two teams come out with the mascots. Europa League on the right-hand side of the camera. And what a nice touch, the referee from Somalia, who didn't get the opportunity to referee at the World Cup thanks to Donald Trump's political views and things like that. He was denied a visa to referee in the World Cup, which I thought was disgraceful. But UEFA have stepped in and they're giving him this showpiece match. And whatever happens, hopefully he'll have a good night and he'll do well. The referee, Omar Otan from Somalia. So the teams walk out. Marquinhos and John McGinn putting their respective trophies on the plimps on the pitch as the teams walk out. This is what they're playing for, the UEFA Super Cup. It's the UEFA version of the Charity Shield or the Community Shield. It's the traditional curtain raisers. It's a bit what the Community Shield is when the Premier League champions face the FA Cup winners. In this competition, it's the Europa League winners take on the European champions. Aston Villa with a very inexperienced side, a couple of young English youngsters. You'll hear in a minute when I give you the team news. No Eni Martinez, no Ollie Watkins, and amongst the squads today, obviously because of their late excursions with Argentina and England, respectively. To only 3 weeks ago, the World Cup finished, and here we are with a new season. But PSG have only played 2 pre-season friendly games, whereas Aston Villa have played 4 or 5, and have had mixed results. They've had the one win in 4 or 5 pre-season games. Luis Enrique looking suitably relaxed on the PSG bench below me. So the teams shake hands. Let me give you the two teams, starting with PSG, and it's Maccabi Sarnoff in goal, and then it's Hakimi, Marquinhos, Pacquiao and Mendes across the back, and then it's Neves, Vitinha, Zaire Emery in the green and midfield with those three, and then further forward we've got Anakurushki, Doué, the centre forward, and watch out for Kavinsky Kvaratskhelia, who is an absolute tricky little customer on the left hand side of the forward three. And there is the Somalia referee. What an honour it will be for him. Should have refereed at the World Cup due to FIFA's incompetence and Donald Trump's politics. He didn't get the opportunity of doing that. One of many, many mistakes that FIFA and Donald Trump made throughout that competition. Disgraceful, really. Infantino said certainly on the block now after that World Cup, after this World Cup just gone, as well as the two captains exchange pennants. I should also tell you that Rabian Ahmed and Stephen Yavini from also from Africa are the Oberonic from Slovakia. We'll tell you the VAR rep in a minute because we're going to look at Aston Villa now with Marco Bizot in goal. Right back Matt Cash, Luke Lindelof and Paul Torres are the two centre-backs. Ian Matson, the former Burnley player, is playing at left-back tonight. Then in midfield, we've got John McGinn. On the right, Joe Gomez and Boubacar Kamara in the middle. And George Hemmings gets an opportunity to see what he's worth with on the left-hand side. Up front, we've got Eni Bontian, the Argentinian, and Brian Maggio, the other young Englishman there. As we look at Alexander Seferin, the UEFA president, who's taken a big stunt against Giovanni Infantino, threatening to boycott the European nations from forthcoming World Cup competitions or FIFA competitions, whether it's club or international. I should also, last bit of housekeeping before the start, Marco De Barlo from Italy is our VAR man tonight. There's our referee from Somalia, Mr. Artan. What an honour it's going to be. It's going to be PSG in their red, white and blue, mainly blue. Aston Villa all in white. And away we go. Kvaratskhelia getting his underway. The ball out of play on the far side, level with the 18-yard box of Aston Villa for the first throw-in of the match. Remember, it will be decided on the night. If it's level after the regulation 90, no extra time, thankfully, in this game. Straight to penalties. But we hope the game will not be decided on anything like that, as Sapanov gets the ball and then just plays it around again. PSG just playing it from left to right hand side here at the moment. Well, right to left, I should say. This is Nuno Mendes across now to Marquinhos, and again to Pacquiao, and now once again Mendes takes possession on the left hand side for PSG. Deep inside their own half here. Marquinhos, the captain, gets it forward down the right, and here's a chance now for Akanuchki to come forward. I'll give you the substitutes as soon as we get a break in play, because there's lots of substitutes to get through from both sides, of course. 12 substitutes can be named, but only 5 can play in the at any time. Ball knocked over again towards Akanuchki on the far side. Great opportunity for the likes of Hemmings and Maggio to see what they're going to be all about. Players I've not really covered before for Aston Villa. Aston Villa with quite a number of players. No, and you may, as we look at Luis Enrique, he's just bought actually from Aston Villa Luca Dean, and he's amongst the PSG subs. He only bought him in the last sort of 3 days or so. Ball back with Marcus Bizot, Dutch international. In a yellow goalkeeper's kick this evening. Long ball forward, cut out there by Hakimi, who scored one of the goals in that game when they last met at Villa Park just over a year and a half ago now. And it was a privilege to be doing that for the TCO alongside our good friend Paul James, who did a sterling job. Of course, my producer tonight, give a big shout out. I've got to give him a big shout out, haven't I? Because it's down to him we got this game on tonight. Nicholas Jones, the brilliant Nicholas Jones, who, by the way, was a brilliant night owl. And if any of you night owls stayed on TCO, he was the man that kept you company all the way throughout those wee small hours. Anyway, Villa have got a free kick here on the far side, the left-hand side. Floated in by McGinn into the penalty area, headed away with great comfort by PSG. McGinn has it now on the right-hand side. McGinn looks to track back, get a good cross into towards the penalty area. Good header away there by Pacquiao, and it had to be a good header away. And now Alanucci concedes another throw-in down by the far corner quadrant almost level with the 6-yard box of PSG to Aston Villa. 3 minutes gone, no score in this Super Cup final. And you're listening to the Commentary Hub. We're bringing you lots and lots of commentaries this season from all the UEFA competitions. The Premier League comes up in a couple of weeks. The Championship as well. I'll tell you all about it in a minute, because Villa are inside the penalty area. The cross comes in from the left-hand side from the byline. And it's turned away for the first corner for Aston Villa. As we look at Luca Dean there, just mentioning there, he's amongst the substitutes. I'll run through all the substitutes as soon as we get the opportunity to. So a corner in to Villa. And it's going to be on the left-hand side as we look, the far side as we look. And it looks like Buendia is going to take this one. Lindelof and Torres both forward on the back. And Torres was almost there, the first to show at the near post. And if he'd have got some sort of a flick then, PSG might have been worried. But, well, it could have been that could have been a great start for Villa with 4 minutes gone. But at the moment, PSG just yet to get into their stride a little bit. Bernard Emery has lost some very key players, of course. He lost Yuri Tillemans, the heartbeat of the Villa side, which triumphed in May in the UEFA final. Really disappointing to see him go, really. But he's gone to Manchester United. They play, incidentally, against Leeds United in a pre-season friendly tonight at Crow Park in Dublin. And apparently there's 82,000 going to be in Ireland tonight for that one. That's a foul there on Ian Matson by Desire Doué. The French making themselves heard. Only 35,000 this stadium holds, but still a good atmosphere. Of course, the Champions League draw will be made at towards the end of the month, along with the Europa League and Conference League, and there's going to be no fewer than 9 Premier League teams. If you include Crystal Palace, who won the Conference League last season, we can't go without a word for them. Arsenal came some mighty close against PSG, but one minor criticism was really they put the handbrake on when they went 1-0 up. And if Villa were to do the same tonight, I hope Unai Emery has taken note of what Arteta, his fellow countryman, didn't do. Or doesn't do, because when Arteta put the handbrake on, PSG just took advantage and wore the Arsenal defence down, and in the end took it to penalties and were very ruthless in the shootout, if I remember rightly. Ball knocked back to Sapanov, the goalkeeper. Place where, of course, he comes from Russia. Only 3 Frenchmen in the starting 11 for PSG this evening. Well, in the build-up to this game, I wrote down some Super Cup facts. Well, definitely will not be having the fastest goal with 6 minutes 50 seconds. Diego Costa. So that record of 50 seconds will still stand from 8 years ago. Of course, PSG have only had 2 warm-up games before this. The French League doesn't kick off until later on in the month. They'll kick off their league campaign in just over 2 weeks. In fact, just less than 2 weeks. In fact, 9 days' time. Plenty of good football coming up this weekend, of course. Our next live football, I'll tell you about that in a minute. Ball knocked back by Cash to Bizot. Bizot kicks away, left-footed. And again, good football again. Villa really putting the pressure on the PSG defence. The referee, I think, has spotted something, and a free kick has been given, I think, to Aston Villa. Or is it a throw-in? It's a throw-in, actually. Right, just to run through the benches for you. Chevalier, the goalkeeper. This is PSG. Ronaldo, Zabrini, Luca Dean, Banya, as Villa come charging through the middle, but it's into the goalkeeper's hands. Ruiz, Matuidi, Fernandes, Dembele, who's been the top scorer the last couple of years. Barola, Adjan Obra and Mbaye. I do apologise about the pronunciations. I had to write these in a hurry this evening. Villa have got 2 goalkeepers, incidentally, on their bench. Wright and Pezamoto. And it's Tyrone Mings and Ndele. Ndelevic. And then we've got Rowe, Cisse, Ross Barkley, Bogarda, Burrows, Tammy Abraham, Allison and Lynch. But as I say, excuse the mispronunciations, folks. And we'll try and get you guys involved during the game as well. Don't forget, keep your comments going. We are a family show. Here comes Akanuski through the centre, down the right-hand side. Cross comes in, cut out by Torres. Kvaratskhelia gets in on the far side again. PSG now doing their Barcelona-esque ticky-tappy style stuff. Ball playing into the penalty area. Now the ball goes out to the left-hand side. Cross comes in there from Mendes, but straight in the arms of Bizot, who takes it no comfortably at all and just calms the situation down that bit more. But a real test of what Aston Villa are all about in defence. Got very experienced backline, of course. Cash, Torres, the Spaniard, and Lindelof, of course, formerly of Manchester United. And of course, Ian Matson, a pacey left-back who nearly scored in the game at Villa Park between these two teams. That nearly took the quarter-final into extra time, you may remember, nearly a year and a half ago. Coutinho has it inside the centre circle, then goes back. And then the ball goes back to Pacquiao, and now Hakimi gets it out again to Akanushi on the far side. Good football this from Paris Saint-Germain. 10 minutes gone, still goalless here in Austria. Good ball out towards the far side. Now, chances here for PSG. Kvaratskhelia was waiting on the edge of the penalty area. This is Vitinha now. Vitinha with a right-footed speculative effort from about 35 yards out, just to the left of centre. Whizzes way over the crossbar. And a goal kick to Aston Villa. Lots of shots of the crowd from the television director here in Austria. And the Paris fans are really enjoying themselves here. It's quite a humid evening here in Austria, very hot. I've even got the shorts on in the commentary box. First time I've worn shorts for a while, commentating on a football match. It is unbelievably humid. Here's McGinn, but he's been dispossessed, and now Kvaratskhelia on the left-hand side. For Aston Villa, tries to get his side towards the penalty area, but 2 Villa players showed a clean pair of heels and beat them and dispossessed Kvaratskhelia. Now down the other end, we've got Brian Maggio now trying to make a bit of a break there, and he's got a throw in on the right-hand side, deep inside PSG territory for Villa. Eleven and a half minutes gone here in Austria. 0-0. Throwing taken by Cash. And now McGinn battling there, and surely that's got to be McGinn saying he's nicking a few yards here. Oh, this is getting ridiculous. Mendes is trying to nick 4 or 5 yards. The referee's got to stamp that out a bit. McGinn is understandably frustrated. Anyway, it's a 3 kick to PSG after all that. And after all that, he's played it out towards Hakimi on the far side. And still, it's in PSG's territory. And they've given the ball away anyway. So what the hell nonsense was about, I do not know. Anyway, Villa come forward. Right-footed shot. And just wide of the target. It was Kamara with the effort. And it must have been, to the left of centre, about 25, maybe 30 yards out. Yeah, just scuffs it a little bit with his right foot. And I think the goalkeeper might have had it covered in any case. I don't mean there's any question about that. And of course, I'll keep you updated with all the latest scores from the friendly games. Of course, there's some prestige friendlies going on this evening tonight. And I hope you enjoy those. It's been unbelievably brilliant so far, 0-0. But it's been a good game. I have to say, it's been brilliant so far. And here come Villa again. I'll give you some latest scores as soon as we get a break in play. We haven't had a chance to do the subs yet. We might get I think we have done the subs. So much is happening here. Buendia trying to make something happen there, the Argentinian. In actual fact, I thought they were in white shirts tonight, Villa. They're in a sort of a very palish blue. It's a bluish white strip shirt. It's the white shorts. And that's where all the confusion came. The low throwing didn't come to much from the far side and straight into the arms of goalkeeper Spavanov. Just for the record, I should also tell you that Villa are attacking the goal to my right hand side and PSG to my left hand side. As I said, plenty of football coming up in the next 9 or 10 months or so. The League Cup, the EFL starts on Friday night. I'll tell you more about that later on in the first half. Of course, we've got Premier League starting in a week and a half's time. We've got commentaries from there. And then, of course, Champions League comes into full swing next month, along with all the other UEFA competitions. And for the first time this season, we're going to be doing Spanish. We're going to be doing South American football. We're going to be doing Brazilian and Argentinian leagues this season. So a bit more of a Latin flavour to our coverage as well this season. And as we extend our commentary coverage far and wide, alternate commentary coverage far and wide here on the Commentary Hub. And of course, some of the games that you'll hear over the course of the season will be on my own channel as well, JB Sports. That includes this one as well. So if you missed the live feed tonight, I will do a rerun tomorrow morning for you at around about 10 o'clock in the morning. Well, Babacar Kamara with a great opportunity there, which was pulled wide. But I still think it's been a good watch so far, and And 0-0 is the score, with a quarter of an hour now played of the first half here. You haven't missed anything much at the moment as Villa get another throw now. Cash to take it. Cash plays it in there. Buendia was virtually on track then, and then it's back to Kamara. Midway inside the PSG half of the field. Still 0-0 if you've just joined us here on the TC Hub. Now then, Maggio tries to chip that forward. And again, Hakimi does well. Gets it back to his goalkeeper. And he gets it out to Marquinhos, just to his right-hand side, just to his left-hand side. But it wasn't a good ball. And again, Kamara takes possession. Gets it over the top to McGinn on the right-hand side. Goes, tries to take on the defender, which is Mendes. And has conceded the goal kick in the end, John McGinn. We see another little flick there from Buendia. Look at that. That's fantastic. Well, you'd expect PSG to be the ones doing the tricks and the flicks and everything else. Ball possession, 51% Villa, 51% PSG, 49% Villa. Nothing really in it so far. We haven't had any shots on goal at the moment, or shots on target, which tells you everything you need to know at the moment as Hakimi comes on the right hand side, still inside, way inside his own half. Now the ball is halfway inside the PSG half, but it's going backwards rather than forwards, back towards our own penalty area. As we see now, Pacquiao comes forward, charging forward. And at the moment, we're a long way off equaling the highest scoring final, which happened, of course, in 2016. 10 years ago, was it 10 years ago? No, it was 11 years ago. Barcelona 5, Sevilla 4. And of course, the last time extra time was played in this final. 2021 was the very last time that happened. I was there commentating. I think it was Manchester United involved. I'm not sure. But anyway, I think I did the commentary that night anyway. Meanwhile, PSG trying to break on the right-hand side. Again, it's just slow, patient build-up. Mind you, the conditions as well. It's quite a humid night as well. Kvaratskhelia now trying to go past Cash. Does so, but he's going infield and going sideways rather than forward towards the Villa goal. 10 yards inside the Villa half as that ball is played out to the far side. And here's another chance now for Akuchi, who's had plenty of the ball in this opening, 18 minutes or so that we've been playing. But again, dispossessed, and Villa looking very confident as well going forward. They're simply winning the early midfield battles, but that's not a very good ball in the end there by George Hemmings. Straight into the arms of Spavanov, the Russian goalkeeper. Tough act to replace Gianluigi Donnarumma, who left for pastures new last season to Manchester City. I remember those 3 magnificent saves he made in that quarter-final game, the last time these two sides met. And yeah, as Paul James quite rightly said, I almost had a con honorary. A con honorary. That's how he described it, and I described it as a Sean Connery. Happy days. 19 minutes gone now, 0-0. But PSG now starting to get into their stride a little bit now with Zaire Emery out to the far side. Looks as if Kvaratskhelia and Akanuski have swapped sides there, looking across to the pitch here. Certainly Kvaratskhelia I can see there on the far side. As Kvaratskhelia now, he's actually in midfield incidentally. Now then, a big opportunity for Anucci, can get the cross in there, header comes in. It may well break here for Mendes inside the penalty area. Kvaratskhelia is inside the box, just to the left of the penalty area. Or the penalty spot, I should say. Shot comes in, deflected, and the goalkeeper makes a fantastic save. And he had to, because he was pulling back the wrong way, Bizot, as the ball was careering towards him. Still not over yet. Kvaratskhelia with a shot, and what a goal that is! Inside the area with his right foot, he was an absolute stunner. And PSG take the lead after 20 minutes. Kvaratskhelia gets his first competitive goal of the season, and PSG show their quality and class. It's 1-0 to the European champions from France. No celebrations from Luis Enrique, obviously, but he'll be pleased with the opportunities that went so unlucky on Marco Bizot, the goalkeeper, because he made a brilliant save in the initial build-up. Villa really didn't cover themselves in glory in getting it away. And this is Kvaratskhelia, he just gets away from Cash and shoots to the left of the penalty area, just inside the area on the left-hand side. And what about that right foot? It's just unstoppable, absolutely unstoppable. And Villa really, if they had a chance tonight, needed that first goal. Unfortunately for them, Kvaratskhelia is in no mood to hang around tonight. It's a terrific goal. There is the emotion. And the Parisians are happy. Not a lot Bizot could have done about that, but he did make a good save earlier, like just about 30 seconds before, from an earlier effort. And now PSG well on top now as Doué goes down. Free kick now to PSG from about 25 yards out from the Villa goal, just to the right of centre as I look. Just tangling there with young Joe Gomez. And there's the goal, Kvaratskhelia. What a player he is. Georgian international, of course. Didn't play in the World Cup, of course, because they didn't qualify for that. I think if they had qualified, I think he would have been a great addition to the finals. Just gone, but maybe he'll get his chance maybe in 4 years' time when the tournament goes to Spain and to Portugal. And Morocco, of course. Anyway, free kick. It's short here to Mendes, who shoots left-footed, and it's wide of the right-hand post. Goal kick to Aston Villa, but PSG now in the last 2 or 3 minutes starting to play their A game. And really, Villa have got no answer. They did start very well, Villa, but in the last 5 or 6 minutes or so, PSG now starting to show their class and show why they're European champions. That looked a very dubious decision against Gomez. As PSG win another free kick. Look very dubious, and I can understand Gomez's frustration towards the Somalian referee. But it is a free kick now. Villa have just got to calm down and get on with things now. There's no point in worrying about what's gone before. Coutinho going to take it from the far side, just to the right of centre, midway inside the Villa half. Now it's Akanuski now running at pace. There was about 4 or 5 in blue in the middle. Couldn't be found, but they still kept possession really nicely here. Kvaratskhelia is completely 3 on that near side, and here he is now on the ball. And this guy can... Oh, he's passed one there. Kvaratskhelia, left-hand side in the area, he goes down. The referee has a look at it and says no penalty. Kvaratskhelia looks quizzically at the referee. I'm not sure that's a penalty. We'd have to have a look at the replay, but the referee had a good 3 or 4 seconds to look at this. Was there enough contact? Well, I have to say, it did look a little bit of a push on Gomez. But we're playing on. VAR are not getting involved. But it was in the bracket, I have to say. I've seen him give him. But maybe there wasn't enough contact, maybe, for the referee. Or possibly VAR to overturn it. And Joe Neves, not Ruben Neves, of course. Gets possession. It's lovely to be back on the TC Hub, and we're covering got some great players on display, certainly from the PSG side tonight. Kvaratskhelia, great goal to set this game up. A real treat now from a neutral's point of view. I know we've got an English team involved, but when you look at PSG, and I mean, they've dominated the French league is a bit of a non-league really, but they did lose their last competitive league match in France. They lost 2-1 to their local rivals Paris FC. That looks as if it was offside there, and away we go with Mendes now inside the penalty area, cross knocked back, and nobody in blue could turn the ball into the back of the net. Still alive for PSG, headed away. But I have to say, from first glance, 1 or 2 of the PSG players did look in an offside position, but then again, they probably weren't interfering with play. Excuse me. Might have been Zaire Emery who was offside, but good break this from Mendes down the left-hand side. And there was 2 or 3 of them, including Zaire Emery, who just couldn't apply a touch there inside the Villa penalty area. Mystifying, really, when you think about it. Here's Pau Torres carrying it now for Villa. 1-0 down if you've just joined us. A goal around 20 minutes. A brilliant goal, it must be said, from Kvaratskhelia. The attempts on target, 4 for PSG, off target. 1 for Villa, off target. 2 on target for PSG. Came in a 30-second flurry where Bizot saved the first one. And then 30 seconds later, Kvaratskhelia cut in from the left and smashed it just inside the penalty area to the left of centre. Past Bizot, who just didn't have a price. Literally did not have a price. We're way past halfway of the first half now. And PSG now have the licence now just to slow the game down. And also it gives me a license to tell you the next football on the commentary hub as well. It's going to be on Friday night, 8 o'clock kickoff. And it's Wolverhampton Wanderers back in the, after 8 years away, back in the Championship, of course, having finished bottom of the Premier League last season. They will take on Blackburn Rovers. And Tony Mowbray, you'll hear that on Friday night, where there's our next football live on the TC Hub with Paul James in the commentary box at Molyneux. Meanwhile, here's a chance for Villa! And the header from 6 yards goes wide from Brian Maggio. Well, he could have made a name for himself there. The cross came in from the right-hand side from John McGinn. And Maggio should really, from 6 yards out, have tested the goalkeeper better. Just missed the left-hand post. But from 6 yards, you'd expect a better striker than him, admittedly, to hit the back of the net with that one. Goal test chance there for Villa. And Brian Maggio knows it. Villa, but a positive response from Unai Emery's men. who, of course, in May won their first trophy for 30 years. This would be some bonus as well. They're back in the Champions League, but of course, they did finish in the top 4, I think. So winning the Europa League has offered opportunities for the likes of Bournemouth to have a go in this competition. Newcastle are back, and new other teams that, well, not Newcastle, but I'll run through all the English European qualifiers, of course, this year for Europe, and during the half-time interval. And as soon as we get a breaking play, I'll give you some prestige-friendly scores. Of course, here's Kvaratskhelia cutting in from the left-hand side. Still Kvaratskhelia, good cross. But a good chest back there by Ian Maatsen, the former Burnley player, straining the arms of Marco Vizot, the Dutch goalkeeper. So 1-0 to PSG. Super goal to set the game well and truly on its head there from Kvaratskhelia. He's a terrific little talent, and I think you could be forgiven. Even if you're an Aston Villa fan, I think you've got to be bluntly honest as well. A few scores here. And also, it's half-time in Dublin, incidentally. Zertsky for Manchester United, Aronson for Leeds, free kick to Villa. And Arsenal are drawing 1-1 against Como. Batarina has scored for Como. We don't know who the Arsenal goal scorer is. And that's half-time as well in the game at the Emirates. Well, half-time in the game at Croke Park. Here in the European Super Cup, Kvaratskhelia with the goal on 20 minutes. Giving PSG, on balance, you have to say, if you look at the stats and everything else at face value, just about a deserved lead. But Villa nearly hitting back through Brian Maggio, who missed from 6 yards out just a couple of minutes ago. Half an hour played then. PSG 1, Aston Villa 0. Villa get a throw on the right-hand side. Level with the edge, almost level with the edge of the Paris Saint-Germain penalty area. Atikash to take it. He's saying, come on, I want you in that penalty area. I'm going to go long. That's what he's saying. Maggio's in there. Can he win the first ball? He can. Inside the area, shot comes in, left-footed. And I think it was George Hemmings who tried the left-footed drive. It was charged away by a couple of PSG bodies inside that PSG penalty area. And in fact, the referee has seen an infringement from an Aston Villa lad and a free kick to Paris Saint-Germain. So that goal on 20 minutes from Kvaratskhelia separates the two protagonists, Champions League winners, leading Europa League winners here in Austria tonight in Salzburg. Of course, we'll have coverage hopefully of the FA Charity or Community Shield, of course. That comes up on the weekend as well. Of course, there's some qualifying games, of course, next week as well. Celtic in action against Lask, of course. They attempt to qualify for the knockout rounds. Of course, Premier League starts on the 22nd of August, or the 21st of August. There's a Friday night match as well. We'll have comprehensive coverage of commentaries of Premier League coverage throughout the season. Excuse me. On the commentary hub. 1-0 if you've just joined us here. This is Akanuski. Just drifted down to a more deeper position now. Ball out to the far side. It's out of play. Oh, it's not. It's been kept in by Hakimi, I should say. Ball over the top. And that's a good ball now to release Hakimi now on the far side. Tangling there with Maatsen. And the free kick goes Aston Villa's way. Excuse me. Got a little bit of a chesty cough coming on here. Maybe it's just the humidity. Maybe just maybe once it gets a little bit cooler during the season, it'll be a lot easier for us commentators. It's not. I'm sure the TCM the rest of the TCO commentators who had to put up with the hydration breaks and everything else during the summer with the World Cup and everything else, they'll say you got it a bit easier, JB, as opposed to what we had. Don't forget, guys, if you want to comment and say hello to me, you're very welcome to do so. And it's nice to have back. And Lewis Skelly, I can confirm, scored the Arsenal goal in that game against Como. And what's the referee giving here? Is it a throw-in? I think he's given a throw-in the other way to Aston Villa. There are some new rules, incidentally, that if a player takes more than 10 seconds on a throw-in, for example, then that's automatically rescinded to the other team. They get penalised and it's rescinded to another team. And if a goalkeeper takes a while, too long, it's an automatic corner. There's a lot of rules and regulations to get your head round. I was watching the League Cup tie the other night between Wrexham and... let's wake up for a second because Villa are on the attack here with Buendia. McGinn wants it in there inside the area. Buendia just keeps his feet. Ball back to Maggio. Maggio inside the area. Oh, that would have been a lovely goal to the left of the penalty area. Nearly it found the right-hand corner, but it just whizzed past the right-hand post. Best moment for Villa. Good play this through the centre. And I think it was actually Hemmings rather than Buendia. Just couldn't keep his feet there, the youngster. Then it came to Maggio. Right foot. Just missed the far post. Oh, not much to spare there. The goalkeeper was grasping at thin air then. Oh, Emery knows that was close. And hooker by crook, it remains 1-0 to the French side. Very, very good first half here now. After a slow sort of first 15 minutes. A lot better. 92% pass accuracy, 76% pass accuracy for Aston Villa. Aston Villa have made 3 times less as many passes, 77 compared to 206 at the last count for Paris. Paris Saint-Germain, of course, to give them their Sunday title. Kvaratskhelia back inside to number 87, which is Jal Neves. Again, good patient build-up. They like to play the ball, like to play the game in a nice, orderly, sensible, pedestrian-like fashion. I should also add there's no yellow cards as yet in this match. In fact, there's been 5 red cards for teams that have lost finals in the past. One of them, of course, being Paul Scholes in 2008 for Manchester United. And we've had 2 sent off before in one final in 2011 for the same side. Wijnaldum and Freddie Guain. They were Porto players. Ramirez of Chelsea has been sent off. And the last red card was for Sevilla player Granadiscia in 2016. No red cards since then. Hakimi now on the far side for PSG, who lead 1-0, 36 minutes played, or 36 and a half minutes played here. And Aston Villa have had 2 brilliantly gilt-edged opportunities really to level this game at 1-1. But the difference is when you don't have the likes of Ollie Watkins or Eddie Martinez in your side, it's always going to be found out. And the referee's given an offside there, I think. I must admit, I didn't see an offside there unless I was not watching their linesman. That's the reason why. I think Kvaratskhelia was coming back from an offside. Good spot from the linesman there on the far side. The officials actually have done okay, actually. You can see why this referee is very highly rated in African football circles. Excuse me. As Cash gets the ball back now to Torres, who's wearing number, or rather Lindelof, I should say. Lindelof wearing number 3, Torres number 14. And Mendes now Coming up to the last sort of 7 or 8 minutes of the first half here in Salzburg. 1-0 to PSG. A terrific goal scored by Kvaratskhelia, who's a tremendous talent. And he's probably the best Georgian player. Certainly the best player, pound for pound, the best player that's ever come out of Georgia, although Georgie Kinkladze might have something to say about that. But it's the same shirt number, in fact, Kvaratskhelia, as the former Manchester City man, wears number 7, of course. Terrific, buzzing little talent, and he's got the same type of skills as Kinkladze used to have. He's playing for a much more high-profile team. When Kinkladze played for Manchester City, they weren't as high-profile as they were. They were always tinkering with relegation from the Premiership, or in fact, he got relegated from the First Division, of course, you may remember. "39 minutes gone then in Salzburg. If you just joined us, PSG 1, Aston Villa 0. Half-time in the game in Dublin, the friendly between Manchester United and Leeds United. It's 1-1. Zertsky for Manchester United, Aronson for Leeds. And it's 1-1 at half-time in the Arsenal-Como game. Mariskelli for Arsenal, Baturina for Como, the Italian side. As Kvaratskhelia now takes possession. It's that's a mistake now, an opportunity here now. Buendia now has got an opportunity here for Villa. Good little step over. Buendia tries the shot. Now Maggio will try again, deflection, and it's a corner kick for Villa. Buendia making a good break towards the penalty area. Really poor from PSG. Some of the play in the first half, excuse me, despite their dominance, has been in the main quite sloppy. And there may have been a possibility of a free kick there against Kvaratskhelia, who hurt himself in attempting a foul there, but it is a corner. I think the referee might be right. I mean, it might have been a coming together anyway, but Kvaratskhelia making that challenge came off actually the worst, believe it or not. Buendia with his corner towards the near post, flicked on by a PSG head at that near post. Villa keep it alive with McGinn. McGinn, oh, good turn from John McGinn, good play. Cross needs to be a good one. Oh, another goal-touch chance this time for Maggio. Yet again, he's had 3 brilliant opportunities, the young Englishman, and he just hasn't taken any of them. Really poor defending again from PSG. They didn't get the corner away very well, and they gave McGinn the opportunity. Nice swivel there by McGinn. Took one defender out the game on the right-hand side. And that should be 1-1, and Maggio should be... We could have had a hat-trick conceivably in this first half, the young English striker for Villa. Buendia goes forward, and he was charged down. That's a foul. Joe Neves claiming he got the ball, but I very much doubt that. That is a bad challenge. No yellow cards as yet. 3.5 minutes to go to half-time, but just less than 3.5 minutes to go to half-time. We'll take a quick 10-minute break. And then after that break, we'll have the whole second half and the trophy lift as well at the end of it all, regardless of which team wins. But Villa have a chance to equalise through John McGinn. Corner, free kick right-hand side. Here it comes into the penalty area again. There was player 3, and the ball is not away yet, and it's off the line, and the goalkeeper's got on top of the ball inside the 6-yard box, and in the end, PSG, not for the first time this evening, escape scot-free. But on set plays, Villa look a menace. But it's still 1-0 to Paris. Kvaratskelia's goal after 20 minutes the difference. We're inside the final 2.5 minutes of the first half. And of course the Slovenian fourth official Onanovic will give us an indication how much further time. I guess there'll only be like 1 or 2 added minutes. We're not on hydration breaks now, but I doubt it's going to be 3 minutes. There's always a running theme throughout that World Cup, wouldn't it? No, that was a good free kick, and there may have been a Villa player offside in the build-up there. I think it might have been Maggio, but he wasn't interfering with play. Once again, Lindelof winning the first header and causing all sorts of trouble in that PSG defence. One nil it is. Good football again, McGinn. Oh, Robert. Oh, that's a chance now for Maggio inside the area. The 12. Oh, he should have scored again. It's the outside of the post and it goes away. And he could have had 3, maybe 4 goals, and I'm not exaggerating there. Villa should be levelled. Buendia again. Lovely reverse ball. And Maggio manages to shake off a defender and hits the outside of the post. Villa can't say they've not had chances tonight. They just can't. Maggio cannot believe his misfortune. A goal kick given. He wants the corner. Goal kick has been awarded. And amazingly, it remains 1-0 here in Salzburg to Paris Saint-Germain. When Villa, arguably, you could say, should be level. We're inside the last 30 seconds of normal time at the end of a very, very good first half if you're a neutral watching this game. Disappointing for Villa perhaps, but they've missed 3 or 4 good opportunities, but grown into the game since the goal. Now then, here's a chance for Hemmings. Can he get a cross in? No, he's going to use McGinn on the right. McGinn again, good cross, and again a chance there, and it's there for Villa! They have got their equalising goal, right on the stroke of half-time. And it's Ryan Maggio, his first goal for Villa. And what a priceless one it could be for them. It's 1-1 in Salzburg. Good response from Villa, and it was only a question of time. He missed maybe 2, maybe 3 gilt edge opportunities before that. And PSG paid the price for maybe being too pedestrian and maybe putting the handbrake on at 1-0 up. And right on the stroke of half-time, Maggio has made it 1-1. Lovely crossing from McGinn. That's what he's all about. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Cross was a perler, and Maggio coming into the far stick could not miss. And Aston Villa get themselves back in this game at 1-1. Tremendous performance from them. And he shook off a defender well. The goalkeeper, Saponov, didn't have a price. 1-1 here in Salzburg. And we're into 1 added minute in amongst all that excitement as Unai Emery salutes that equalising goal. And Villa have given themselves an absolute brilliant opportunity here to clinch a shock victory if they can keep this sort of intensity up, possibly in this second half. But they deserve to be on level terms. Since the goal, they've took over and have fought their way back in it superbly. A great finish for him in his young career, an Englishman as well. I hope Mr. Tuchel is taking note of him. There's a throw now taken by Cash. We've played the 1 minute. I think we probably have a little bit more because of the goal celebrations and everything else. Here's John McGinn. Villa might come again and score again. McGinn has shook up his performance. Defender now on the far side. McGinn again. Good cross back and almost a second Villa goal. And still might come for Villa. Hemmings now to Maggio, and the referee's allowing this to go on. I don't think Villa want half time to win, quite honestly. Now the ball breaks away for Hakimi to break away. Surely that must be that for the first half. And indeed it is, but what a good first half. And Villa fans will be buoyed by this. 1-1 the score here in Salzburg. And what a second half we've got in store now here on the commentary hub. And on all TCL platforms. Paris took the lead after 20 minutes. Kvaratskhelia with a superb goal that just whistled past Bizon into the middle of the net, as he could even on the left hand side. Good right-footed header, or good right-footed strike. And then Maggio, with virtually the last kick at the normal time at the end of the first half, with a super header. Having missed 3 great gilt-edged chances before that, finally got his goal and has got his team in at level terms. And you've got to say, arguably, Villa deserve to be level. So we're going to take a 10-minute break here on the TC Hub. And when I come back, I will give you the rundown of all the other scores around Europe tonight in the friendlies and stuff. But I'm gonna sort of start. I'm going to take a little break here because my voice is almost gone. So I'm going to take a 10-minute break. Join us again in 10 minutes' time, well in time for the second half. But the half-time score here in Salzburg: Paris Saint-Germain 1, Aston Villa 1. Welcome back to Salzburg. As here on the commentary hub as Aston Villa and PSG are 1-1 at the moment in brilliant game. Let's have a look at what's happening elsewhere around the world tonight. We've got some Conference League stuff going on at the moment. Third qualifying round, Copenhagen 5. These are all full times, incidentally. Copenhagen 5, Debrecen 1, 8-1 to Copenhagen on aggregate. Katowice 1, Apple Tel Aviv. Katowice 2, Apple Tel Aviv 1, 3-2 to Apple Tel Aviv on aggregate. These are all second legs, incidentally. And Rapid Vienna, that's an old name from the past. 1985 European Cup Winners' Cup finalists. They've beaten Paridi 2-0 on the night, 6-1 on aggregate. Elsewhere in the friendlies, we've played 70 minutes at the Emirates, where Arsenal and Como are drawing 1-1. Almost the same time in Crow Park in Dublin, where Manchester United and Leeds United are playing out a 1-1 draw. And at half-time, it's Deportivo La Coruña 0, Real Madrid 1. No match between Paris and Auxerre, that's been cancelled. And those are the scores I've got at the moment. Yeah, that's as far as we can go as regards that. With all those scores. Tomorrow there's a big night of qualifying round football for the Europa League involving Besiktas, Fenerbahce, Anderlecht, Rangers, of course. That's a big game, and Hearts. Rangers trailing 2-1 from the first leg against Jalanira. Hearts trailing 6-1, would you believe, against Benfica. And Shamrock Rovers take a 3-1 lead to Akinadia as well. As far as the Conference League is concerned, Hibernian take a 2-1 lead to their game in Skrenda. And Motherwell and AJK take a level at 1-1 as they go up to Fir Park for the second leg there tomorrow evening. So plenty happening now at the moment as we wait for the teams to reconvene. Just to let me remind you of what we've got coming up as well. Friday the 14th. I know I wasn't due to say this until the end of the programme, but I'm going to try and promote it and give Paul James a leg up, because if we can get a few more listeners through the door, then to subscribe. Just before I do start to do some promotion, let me forget, if you missed this match tonight, incidentally, folks, there will be a replay of it being played out tomorrow morning on JB Sports. So there'll be a live stream on JB Sports tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon for you. We'll give you times and stuff nearer the time, and you can listen back if you haven't heard the game first time round. You can do. Championship, as I say, starts this weekend. We've got Wolves against Blackburn, but I'll tell you a bit about that later on. Also tomorrow, Friday night, Kilmarnock against Hare and Marseille against Atletico Madrid. But that starts the domestic league season in England. Full EFL programme on Saturday, and then Sunday, the Charity Shield and 2 championship games, Watford, Southampton, and the big one of the weekend, it has to be said, Burnley against West Ham at 4 o'clock. And then they've got the Scottish Cup second round, of course. Liverpool take on Como. Tottenham against Tottenham in one of the big friendlies there. But we're now waiting for the 2 teams to re-emerge. Also, in the world of sport today, we've got in the European Athletics Championship, Matthew Hudson-Smith has jumped into the stand. He's won the he's won the 400 meters in a time of around about 44.17, and has won it in front of his own crowd in Birmingham. Meanwhile, in the 200 meters, Amy Hunt and Dina Asher-Smith have won their semi-finals. And in around about 8 minutes from now, Emily Newham and Lena Nielsen go in the women's 400 metres final. And Charlotte Payne also features in the women's hammer. Sam Bennett, of course, powers in the 110 metres hurdles with a... in other sports, and as well, meanwhile, in basketball, LA Lakers are going to be sold in a record $12.5 billion deals. Yesterday, after Mark Walter took a majority share in the franchise, Josh Kushner, the brother of US President Donald Trump's son-in-law Jared, and Disney chief executive Bob Iger are buying the controlling interest of the Lakers. So that's happening. That's what's happening in the world of basketball. And meanwhile, in the 100, and of course, before we start, still waiting for the teams to reconverge for the start of the second half. Don't worry, you're not missing much. Wrexham against Cardiff on Monday, of course. Yes, of course, Nicholas. I forgot about that. Big Welsh derby, of course. In the 100 group game, Birmingham Phoenix currently 107 for 5 after 77 balls, now 113 for 5, chasing 157 from the MI London, who finished there 100 balls on 157 for 6. So Birmingham Phoenix now need 45 to win from 22 balls, and they've got 5 wickets in hand. That's happening in Edgbaston. Meanwhile, we're waiting for the second half to reconvene here in Salzburg. Really good first half, I must admit. It's been a joy to watch. And of course now we're back live with the action. So Dembele is about to come on for PSG. So presumably Luis Enrique is not happy with the way things went in that first half. I have a little wonder he's had to spice it up a little bit for the start of the second half. So Dembele is going to enter the fray in this second period and maybe add a bit more dimension to the PSG attack. 1-1 it stands here. But Villa have given themselves a real opportunity now to win the game as John McGinn and the referee Omar Artan have a little bit of a giggle together. So Dembele now on. I don't know who is replaced, by the way. We'll get confirmation of that in just a second or two. I think we're going to get that from the fourth official now. But anyway, regardless, Aston Villa is underway in those pale bluish, whitish shirts. So as it stands, we're 45 minutes away from a penalty shootout here in Salzburg. And a very warm and humid night here in Austria. Free kick to PSG. Fouled by Bendria over on the far side. Kvaratskhelia with the goal for PSG after 20 minutes and ran right on the stroke of half time. Brian Maggio with the equalising goal. 17 years old, Brian Maggio. And what a great prospect he is. He's absolutely big. And you would argue that Villa do deserve to be level in this match. They're taking a fight to PSG. Having gone to go down, other teams in the past would have buckled, but not Aston Villa. That is for sure, and I think that's credit to the way Unai Emery sets him up. He's very, very good in these situations. And of course, don't forget, I've got to choose a player of the match. I forgot about that. We've got to choose a player of the match, incidentally. Well, I have anyway. I'll just get that substitution confirmed. But meanwhile, so Ancelotti is off and Ousmane Dembele is now on. That's the confirmation. Right, now that's cleared up. We're back underway. Almost 2 minutes played of this second half and still no change in the score. me and Nick Jones, the producer, we've been sampling the delights of this beautiful city all day, and of course we haven't drunk on duty, by the way, Russ. Just so you know, we haven't spent the money on booze. We've absolutely been looking around the sights, and it's a beautiful city, Salzburg. It's a really nice place. Terrific atmosphere though, in the stadium. But it's thanks to Nick Jones, our producer and commentator supreme, that we have this broadcast for you tonight. Not just the commentator that deserves the credit, it's our producer too. As Dewey tried to go through there on the right hand side, and Maggio wins a free kick, does he? Yes, he does. Free kick inside the Villa half to Aston Villa, midway inside the Villa half to Aston Villa. Dewey, number 14 there, Luis Enrique. Well, you'll be happy with some parts of the game, but also what you've got to take into account, really, folks, is that PSG have played only 2 warm-up games since returning to pre-season, whereas Villa have had 5 now to get fully into their stride. So maybe later on in the game, now with more minutes in the Villa legs than PSG, maybe that might become a factor later on in the piece. For all the good enterprising play PSG did in the first half, they do look slightly ring rusty to me, but that's to be expected. So, but Villa are holding their own, just like Tottenham did a year ago, before succumbing 4-2 on penalties after an entertaining 2-2 draw. And here's the ball, an opportunity now for Zaire Emery now to find Hakimi on the right hand side. Now then, Doué now. This looks ominous. And Dembele gets his first touch to Kvaratskhelia. Plays nothing sort of a ball into the penalty area, into no man's land. And through to Bizard in the goalkeeper in the Villa goal tonight. No Andy Martinez. No Ollie Watkins in the starting or the substitute on the substitutes bench, by the way. That was the big team news before we started here. Of course, naturally they're got to get back up to absolute fitness. So Unai Emery trusting the kids tonight, and here they go again. Here's one of them now. Maggio leading the charge. And there's an opportunity now for Buendia inside the area. Buendia shoots, and a great save by the goalkeeper, diving away to his right-hand side. John McGinn, in fact, with the shot. And the goalkeeper did really well there, Spabanov. And then there's a PSG player gone down in the first yellow card of the game. Is to a Villa player. Not sure who it is, actually. I think he might have been signalling the card to one of the bench. I'm not sure. Another yellow card out on the field. I think the referee's just plunging it which way. We'll get it all confirmed for you later on in the feed. It was a foul by Torres. I'm not sure if he got a yellow card for that challenge on Doué. Certainly one of the Villa bench got booked. I'm not sure if it was, to be honest. I'm sure in the fullness of time that will all get confirmed. There was also a yellow card out on the field. Again, not been confirmed by UEFA at all. But we'll get confirmation of that from UEFA as time passes. Anyway, one player I can say with certainty on the field anyway has been booked, but we're not sure who that might have been. But we'll get confirmation from UEFA as to who that was. But one thing's for sure, the game's starting to get a little bit feisty out there now. Still 1-1. You're not missing anything at the moment. At the moment it's 1-1. As the ball now comes over to the far side, but onto the near side, but Villa win possession. Down below me with Ian Matson. Has not had much to do as an attacking force. And, well, it's certainly been a terrific game so far to describe and to watch. And I hope you've enjoyed it as well at home. So 1-1 is the score. I'm just trying to work out who's got that yellow card so far for Villa. But we haven't got any confirmation from UEFA as to who's got the booking. Anyway, we'll concentrate on the match and then find out in the fullness of time, I think. PSG coming forward now and looking to go ahead in the match. As the ball goes out to the right-hand side, Villa want the throw. It was Pau Torres, I can confirm, who got the yellow card on the field. What I can't confirm is who got the yellow card on the bench. Might be one of the Villa coaching staff who got the yellow card. As I said, I don't know who got it, but I can confirm now that Pau Torres has been booked. Total attempts, actually Villa shading it 11-4 on total attempts and leading on target by 2-3. So Villa, in that respect, should be in front. PSG, understandably, have been sloppy because they played three less pre-season games than Villa have had. But here comes Dembele inside the penalty area, muscled out a bit by two Villa defenders. Crucially as well, the ball breaking kindly there for Bizot, the Dutch goalkeeper. And Villa Reeb again. Bizot kicks away, right-footed from his hands. Over the halfway line, 3/4 of the way up the field. And then now a chance now for Villa, and it's Hemmings leading the charge on the left-hand side. He's got Maggio in the middle, but he's got to go outside to Buendia. Tricky little Argentinian. Villa have asked a lot of questions, and on another day, could have had 2 or 3. But I tell you what, Maggio is definitely in line for the Man of the Match award at the end of the night. Of course, I've got to choose a TCO Man of the Match award. I'm not sure who sponsors that these days, but I'll sort of guess that we haven't got a sponsor at the moment. But meanwhile, PSG coming searching out with Hakimi, trying to knock the ball in from the right-hand side, but muscled out a bit now. Now Buendia takes possession, tries to turn. Maggio nearly getting possession himself. He certainly had a good game tonight. The young 17-year-old Englishman who looks a real prospect, looks a real player. Going forward for Aston Villa. Have they unearthed another brilliant English striker? Have we got a long-term replacement for when Harry Kane retires, perhaps, for the England team? Who knows? 55 minutes gone. 10 of them played in the second half. And it's PSG 1, Villa 1. And it's Kvaratskhelia on the left-hand side. Far side as we look up against Cash. And he goes in field now to Mendes. Mendes, and then the shot comes in, deflected. It was Zaire Emery with a right-footed effort. It took a couple of dicks and went straight in the arms of Marco Bizot, the Dutch international goalkeeper. And he throws out with his right hand, and a good throw out too. And a little bit of wrestling going on there. The referee's got a... Well, McGinn was being wrestled at the ground there, and the referee did absolutely nothing. And he had an unaided view, and he had a clear, unguarded view of the whole situation, and decided in his own infinite wisdom to play on, which I found absolutely baffling, by the way. Seemed a bit odd to me, but there you go. Sometimes that's just the way of the world. But it remains 1-1. The attack didn't come to much as it turned out in the end. And now PSG restore order in possession. We're 34 minutes away from a penalty shootout here. And so far, no knowing who will win the UEFA Super Cup. PSG, the holders come forward, and it's Hakimi now on the right-hand side. Can he get to the? Can he reach the ball before he goes beyond the dead ball line? Cross comes in from the right-hand dead ball line from the right-hand side, but it's nodded away. But it's still on the right, and it's Hakimi again. Infield to Marquinhos, the PSG captain. 57 minutes gone. Kvaratskhelia up against Cash on the right-hand side. McGinn joins him to help out. But Kvaratskhelia, very tricky customer. And again, dispossessed, and here goes Maggio. He's had a super match so far. He's over the halfway line through the centre. Has to hold the play up because he's got no great support. He only had Buendia to his left-hand side, but he would have been a wee bit isolated. And John McGinn giving the thumbs up there to Maggio because he bought. What he did do was great hold-up play. This is the McGinn chance earlier on with the left foot. Goalkeeper it was a good act for the goalkeeper, actually. Mind you, the deflection didn't make it that easy really for the goalkeeper, but he's got some problems, Luis Enrique. There's no doubt about that. As we come up towards an hour played here on the TC Hub. Ball live, alternate commentary of Aston Villa 1, PSG 1 in the UEFA Super Cup for 2026. This is Hemmings now. Crossing from the left-hand side. The goalkeeper rather flapped at that one, I have to say. And he was under no great pressure at all. Not very good goalkeeping indeed. Something really for Villa to cling to here as they get a throw-in level with the 18-yard box of PSG on the far side. It's going to be Matt Cash to take it. The former Nottingham Forest man, the Polish international. Cash throws it into the penalty area. Again, looks for the head of Maggio. Paris win the first and second balls, but not very far. Cash now has a second opportunity. Cross is a good one. Buendia's header. Just to the right of the 6-yard area. Heads it over the top. Goal kick to PSG, but Villa knocking on that PSG door. And they desperately, even with a weakened team on paper, they want to win this Super Cup really badly. Don't have any doubts about that. Goal kick to PSG. Sabanov to take. Kicks away, right-footed. Up towards the halfway line on the far side. Ball out of play, just beyond halfway. About 3 yards inside the Villa half, but it's a throw to Villa, far side. Cash to take. Steals a couple of yards, throws it long towards Maggio again. Paris had enough wayward all defensively to quell the danger. And then illegally, Villa win the ball back, and it's a free kick to PSG. We played an hour, half an hour plus any injury and stoppage time to play here in Salzburg. And it's 1-1, and is there a flag up here? No flag against Delay. Anyway, inside the area, scores! But it will be pulled back for offside. He did look offside in the build-up. Now, why was it? And this is another, well, I'd say this almost every commentary I do now, and it's becoming a running joke, quite honestly. Why are the rules not amended? He's clearly offside. Why doesn't the linesman on the near side put his leg up then? Why? What was the point in letting the play breathe for 10 seconds when it was quite clearly and utterly offside? They're checking for VAR, but in my view, that's not a goal because he's clearly about 2 yards offside. So why are they checking it? Heaven only knows he's took the goal really well, but VAR are checking this. This is an almighty mess because, quite honestly, why are we needing to check a goal when quite clearly it's offside? He's offside by a long way. It can't be possible. And the goal has been given. Well, that is unbelievable. I can't believe that decision. That is offside for me. He's no more than 2 yards offside, Douay. And the goal amazingly stands. Unbelievable. Villa will have every right, in my opinion, to feel aggrieved about that. That is a poor decision from the VAR and the referee. Because in my opinion, that goal looked at least 2 yards offside. And there's thunder. No wonder the Villa players have faces like thunder because that goal, in my opinion, should not have been allowed to stand. He's 2 yards offside. He's quite clearly offside. I don't care whether the leg is playing him on. Offside is offside, in my opinion. And Villa have every cause to complain there. No doubt at all the way he finished it there. Cut him from the right-hand side and beat Bizot into the left corner. There's no problem with that. My problem is that goal should not have stood in the first place. But the Italian VAR is giving it to the French team. But in my opinion, that is a most unbelievably senseless decision that the officials have made here tonight. That's a poor decision. It's a poor decision. And Villa must come from behind yet again. Can they do it again? Maggio! Oh, Maggio again, well denied. He looked to all the while it was going to be 2-2. The goalkeeper saves from point blank range, and here they go again with Doué down the right hand side. Now it's getting feisty. Now the challenges are getting thick and fast and furious. A yellow card there to Gomez, who's furious at the referee there. And you can understand the feelings of the Villa players. They feel they've been cheated. Well, I wouldn't say cheated, but they have been well done by. But firstly, the offside goal. It is a foul, though. And he was from behind, so, yeah, fair decision from the referee, the bookable offence. Now, I'm sorry, that is not offside. That is not onside, in my opinion. Look, his arm's offside. Now, let me point to a case in point. Burnley had a goal chalked off under similar circumstances against Brentford last season for that sort of thing. Now, this is where inconsistency really comes into it. I've totally lost faith with the offside laws in this day and age. Maybe I'm just an old dinosaur, maybe. But anyway, ball chipped into the penalty area, the Villa penalty area by PSG. Villa, I think, have every cause for complaint about that goal. It looked offside. I have to say, when the naked eye, it did look offside. But the Somalia and the Italian VAR, the Somalian ref and the Italian VAR decided it was a goal. And as much as I disagree with that decision, the goal stands, rightly or wrongly, and it's PSG who are 2-1 up now. Undeservedly, in my opinion, but if we take out the emotions of the decision, Doué did take his finish really, really well. Well, 25 to play, and Villa were right in with a chance of winning this. And it's a shame that a really dodgy VAR decision might well deny them here another European trophy. Because here goes Dumbele, and this is a good run. And Doué was waiting untracked on the right-hand side of the penalty area. And Villa not getting all the decisions now from the Somalian referee. But he's let that one go this time. Now, can Maggio get on his bike? But the goalkeeper's way off his line and come to inside his penalty area. So Gomez confirmed as a yellow card recipient. It was the right decision on that occasion. But there will be question marks about the goal. I don't think there's any question about that. Mendes is down. And injured Villa yet to make a change, incidentally. PSG just the one at the moment. It looks a harsh decision, that goal. With a goal to be given like that, that's... Well, it looks a harsh decision for me, that goal. You know, I mean, Dean Dublin sat behind me in the press box. He thinks it's a little bit of poor play from Matt Cash, but offside is offside. I think his arm... I mean, I guess it's how the linesman or whoever is in charge interprets the rules. But to my knowledge and in my opinion, and I'm only saying this in my opinion, that looked a very harsh decision against Villa. But I'm totally and utterly at odds with the IFAB ruling on offsides. 67 minutes gone then in Salzburg on the TC Hub. PSG 2, Aston Villa 1, and Villa quite rarely will find themselves very, very hard done by to be 2-1 down at this stage. And there's still time left. They've still got to bring on the likes of Tammy Abraham. But let's take the emotions and the controversy of the offside out of the equation on the go. How well did Due in all of that take that goal? He took it superbly. Maybe I'm just a better Englishman, I don't know, but an offside is an offside. And for my money, he can look beyond the last defender, but I'm just an old dinosaur when it comes to these sort of decisions. IFAB make the rules so complicated now, especially the offside rule. And I've been banging on about this on TCO commentaries for years and years and years, that they have to simplify this offside law. They've complicated it to such a degree to suit the needs of VAR. It's become a running joke, and it's become absolutely ridiculous. Free kick to PSG, meanwhile. A goal kick has been given, actually. Hakimi just kicking the ball back to his goalkeeper. I mean, fair play to Dewey. I mean, he took that ever so well when he couldn't run the right-hand side, and he curled it past Bizot superbly into the corner, but he looked offside on the first play. And this was a great opportunity. In fact, it was Hemmings who had the actual shot, not Maggio. Anyway, here's Hakimi now for PSG, leading 2-1 now as we've gone way past the halfway mark of the second half now. We're nearly at the 70th minute of this Super Cup final. PSG, unsurprisingly, have 62% possession to Villa's 38%. But that's not a surprise in any case, because you would expect PSG, with all their pass and move and the sideways passing, to have a lot of the ball. Here's Hakimi in behind now. This could be danger here for Villa, but Hakimi's first touch was poor, and the ball out of play for a goal kick to Aston Villa. Hakimi, though, applauds the pass and recognises it was his touch now. Then we're going to see some substitutions now for Aston Villa. Tammy Abraham's definitely one. And here come PSG looking for a killer third. But they don't get it this time. But fresh legs from the bench. Always a welcome sight now. Villa have worked really hard. And will still very, very unlucky as Zaire Emery gets the ball back to his goalkeeper, Zabanov, to be 2-1 down. And they could have had a hatful tonight. But there's plenty of positives to take out of this Villa performance. I think the attacking intent's been good. The fitness levels have been at a decent standard. So whatever happens tonight, Villa have nothing to be ashamed about. They've applied themselves and they've played their part in a really good game of football. And it's just a one decision really from Villa, or from a referee's assistant, that could cost them in the end. Shot comes in, Kvaratskhelia on the rebound, slips. And in the end, Villa just got enough bodies back in. Dembele was also on the scene. Shot came in from about 25 yards. Goalkeeper could only bat it down. Kvaratskhelia came in to try and finish it off. He slipped as he went to shoot from just inside the penalty area. And Villa getting away as McGinn comes charging forward down the right-hand side, but his attempted pass is crowded out, and it's going to be a throw-in to PSG. Dembele is down there injured and having a go at the goalkeeper. I don't know what he's... I think it might be cramp, actually. Fair play to Bizot giving him a bit of a treatment there, because other opposition players wouldn't have done that. So anyway, a free bomb sub now from Aston Villa as they look to try and get back in this game. And what a game this guy's had. Brian Maggio, remember the name, great finish, left foot into the net, 1-1. That made it 1-1, terrific finish. A name to really note for the future. And I hope Thomas Tuchel's been watching this game, because if we need a striker when Harry Kane goes and he gets into good form, Well, he's certainly one for the future. So Maggio, John McGinn and Babacar Kamara are all withdrawn. And on in their places come the Brazilian Alisson, the Dutchman Bogarda, and Tammy Abraham. He's re-signed from Italian football now. Second spell at Aston Villa. Was a member of the side that won the playoffs some 7 years ago. It's hard to think that 7 years ago Villa were playing championship football. John McGinn was part of that team as well, and he's gone off now. And he's been booked for probably some protestations as well. So, no doubt the referee taking leniency with the French side. But Villa have played really well, unfortunately. Some of their commitment has bordered on yellow cards being brandished anyway. Here's a chance now for Villa. Abraham waits in the middle, cross coming in. The goalkeeper didn't get there. And surely an equaliser, but no. Again, Villa denied by combination of the goalkeeper and a bit of defending. Good defending again. Maatsen looked as if he was shoulder charged off the ball. The Villa fans aren't happy about that, but real panic stations in that Paris Saint-Germain defence. Again, the crossing from the right. The goalkeeper, really, that was poor from him. I tell you what, if he's replacing Donnarumma, that's not good enough on his behalf. And I wonder what John McGinn got booked for. He's telling him to get off there. I don't know why. Dissent, I presume that's what he got. I think he had to go at the goalkeeper there. Anyway, 2 substitutions being made. I think McGinn was trying to point out the fact that the goalkeeper was stealing yards. Anyway, substitution time now for PSG. Their second and third of the game. As we get more fresh faces coming into the fray as we go into the last quarter of an hour now. Fabian Maurice is going to come on, number 8. Replacing Joe Mendes and Joe Neves, or Nuno Mendes. And Hernandez and Fabian Maurice both on. But here come Villa. Abraham gets his first touch inside the penalty area. Chances here for Villa if they can just get an opportunity. But at the moment, they just can't buy a bit of fortune in front of goal at the moment. Here's Cash down the right-hand side. Cash. Can he get a cross in? Deflects. It's going to fall favourably there for the defender who heads it out of the PSG penalty area. Still 2 on to PSG. We're inside the last quarter of an hour here in Salzburg. If it's level after 90, straight to penalty kicks. At the moment, there's no necessity for penalties, and now we've got another PSG going in a heap on the far side of the field, midway inside the PSG half. And I wonder if that's just a little bit of time wasting, maybe a time wasting play now to frustrate Aston Villa a little bit. Tammy Abraham is not impressed. Kvaratskhelia, a great player he is, just making the most of that. Having said that, though, he has been in the walls tonight, the Georgian. That must be said. Plenty of good football coming up this weekend. The start of the championship season. We'll have live coverage of Wolves against Blackburn Rovers on Friday night with Paul James. And then, of course, on Sunday, we hope to have coverage, of course, of the first domestic prize on offer for the in the domestic scene, the FA Community or Charity Shield, being played this year at Cardiff's Millennium Stadium. And the kick-off slightly earlier as well. I think it's like 1:30 to 2 p.m. at the Millennium Stadium. Ball back with Bizot, who's had no chance on either of the PSG goals that have gone bar him. Here's Cash now on the far side for Villa. Gets it over the halfway line. Abraham chases, but getting good defending again by the PSG defenders. Kvaratskhelia now far side. Again, 2 Villa defenders trying to put him up. Like it's a good ball played in there towards Doué. And I mean, it's not been exactly a classic game between these two sides. I mean, not as good as the Villa Park one in terms of the end-to-end football that we saw a couple of years ago in that quarter-final. Of course, we'll have coverage of the Champions League, the Europa League, Conference League, FA Cup later on this season, of course. That comes up mainly in the second half of the season. We'll have some women's football, of course. And for the first time this year, a new idea. We're going to be covering some South American stuff. We're going to be covering the Brazil League. So the likes of Flamengo will be covered. And Boca Juniors, of course, with the Argentinian League. So the likes of Boca Juniors and teams of that magnitude will be covered extensively for the first time on the TC Hub this year. Another novel idea by one of my esteemed colleagues, Paul James, to bring you more football and to sort of make the commentary hub the more cosmopolitan home of alternate YouTube football. We're strictly cosmopolitan on this channel. 12 minutes to play then in this UEFA Super Cup of 2020-60. The curtain raiser to the new European season. And at the moment, it's the European champions leading the Europa League champions by 2-1. Kvaratskhelia now cuts him on the right-hand side. Try to play a 1-2. And again, Villa getting up on his back and they get a free kick. Foul there by Fabian Ruiz. The English is in the crowd, of course. And the Paris fans are enjoying themselves. Ross Barkley, the former Everton man, and Tyrone Mings are about to enter the fray. Two former England internationals. João Gomez off, Pau Torres on, and Pau Torres are off. Ross Barkley and Tyrone Mings then both on. Both of them former England internationals. Lots of great stuff to bring you on Commentary Hub this year over the next 9 months. Of course, there's the Women's World Cup, of course, coming up next summer. Plenty to come on the TC Hub. We brought you some really good World Cup coverage with the lads, Russ Byrne, Nicholas Jones, and Paul James and Mike Harneman. As the cross comes into the penalty area, well taken by the goalkeeper inside his 6-yard box. 10 minutes to play. I've got to find a player of the match at the moment. And, well, naturally, that's a foul. That's a foul there by Batinia, Portuguese international. Kvaratskhelia trying to roar his troops on. He's had a good game, actually, Eni Brandia, I have to say, former Norwich man. Plenty of candidates. Kvaratskhelia, you could say, has been the pick of the PSG bunch tonight. Brian Maggio as well, 17 years old. In a fearless competitor, squandered a few chances but took one that really counted. At the moment, here's Barkley now from Atson's pass. Infield it goes. Villa looking for an equaliser that might just take it to penalties. Still possibilities with 10 minutes just under the play. And there might be a fair chunk of injury and stoppage time, of course. There's not been too many injuries. It's mainly been substitutions, so we might get at least 3 or 4 minutes at the end of this in terms of actual stoppages. We'll soon see. Wag stays down. And here goes Dembele now, down the right-hand side. Mings to face him. Dembele goes beyond Mings. And he still might break for Kvaratskhelia. Off the line. I don't think it was going in the net anyway. And Hemmings brings it away now for Villa. Buendia now on to Tammy Abraham. And Hemmings is bursting the gut now towards the area. So too is Maatsen. Abraham, good ball. Now the ball played in. And Abraham couldn't get there. Crossing low from the right-hand side. And Abraham, who led the charge after Kvaratskhelia couldn't finish it off. There was him, and if Maatsen had stayed forward, possibilities. There was Villa within an ace of getting level after 81 minutes of this Super Cup final. Still 2-1 to PSG, but Villa are coming again. And remember, in the last 8 minutes of the first half, they grew into their stride and had many, many chances before they struck again. It's not beyond the realms of possibility of them doing exactly what they did in the first, at the end of the first. Oh, mistake! A mistake here. And Dembele can't get it out of his feet. And in the end, Villa come away with it. It's been a great game. My voice is going there. It's been such a good watch. Not as good as the Villa Park game a year or two back, but some great entertainment, controversy, goals. Some questionable refereeing. We've had the lot tonight. Terrific entertainment for the en masses here in one of the UEFA showpiece events, and it's given away to Kvaratskhelia. You don't want to be doing that. Here he is now. Inside the area on the left-hand side. Crosses into the penalty area on the volley. Dembele with his left foot. And hits it 20 rows back into the stand for a goal kick for Villa. Well, it's been some match this. Now the game is becoming rather stretched now at the end of what's been a remarkable 85 minutes of play here. I hope you've enjoyed it. We've had 83.5 minutes, I should also add. Elsewhere, Manchester United and Leeds drew 1-1, but they did a penalty shootout at the end of that, and Manchester United won that by 5-4 on penalties. Meanwhile, there's a chance here for Villa. Cross in from the left-hand side by young George Hemmings, and it's out for a throw-in now to Aston Villa. 6 to play. Hemmings will take the throw. Is he going to leave it? He's going to leave it to Ian Matson, the former Burnley man. Goes short this time. Now Barkley. Still has it now. Barkley on the left-hand side. They're trying to ticky-tacky it into the back of the net. Good catch there from Umre there. Good piece of athleticism there from the Aston Villa manager. Here goes Matson now. Cutting it on the left-hand side. Pays to burn this kid. Saw that many, many times in that one season he spent on loan at Burnley. I remember him scoring a terrific goal on debut for the Clarets against Huddersfield some 5 years ago now. Does it seem that long ago? They even called him a kid then. And a brilliant performance from Villa. Whatever happens now in defeat, if it is to end in defeat. But no one can say they've not had chances tonight. They've really had chances. PSG can think themselves very, very lucky. Arsenal played their match against Como. It finished a draw. Then they had a penalty shootout. Strange, really, that they're playing penalty shootouts after friendlies. Anyway, Arsenal won it on 4-3 on penalties. And, of course, you know about Man United and Leeds. Deportivo 0, Real Madrid 1 in another friendly. An all-Spanish affair, that one. They've got about 4 minutes left in that one. The goal from Real Madrid, incidentally, was Diaz in the first minute of stopping time at the end of the first half. Less than 4 minutes, just over 4 minutes to go now. It looks as if it's going to be Paris Saint-Germain with that controversial goal from Doué. It's going to ring the day here, unless Villa can score another one now, as Mayo will come on now to replace Doué, the aforementioned Doué. It's a terrific finish. Take nothing away from the strike. The way he cuts in from the right-hand side. Has to play to the whistle, of course. And I'm not criticising him as a whole, because he's not to know that the linesman and the referee are going to make a very dodgy, controversial decision, maybe. But one has to argue, was it the right call? But take nothing away from Doué. It's not his fault, of course. I must make that absolutely clear. Yes, Bulgara now for Villa, needing a goal to take this to penalties. And they've got the players out there to surely show it now. Barkley having to turn back into his own half. Not what you want to be doing at this stage of proceedings. Don't forget, whoever wins this final, we will be bringing you the trophy left live. And then we'll be wrapping up for the evening. A remarkable game of football here in the UEFA Super Cup tonight. No quota given. That must be said. The two teams are really settled down into their stride and have given it their best shot. Ronaldo is about to come on for Kvaratskhelia. I've got to think of a player of the match, of course. This is the goal he scored. Oh, it's a superb goal. It is world class. He's a world class player, really. And I think Nicholas Chums was right about him playing in the last European Championships as well. But I'd love to get his Georgia side to a World Cup in the future. That would be remarkable. Ronaldo takes his place now as PSG look to shut up shop and hold on to this slender 2-1 lead they've got here over Aston Villa. As Lindelof gets it to Cash. Just inside the Villa half. Cash has his attempted clearance charged down. Proud of Villa, midway inside their own half. They don't need it down that end. There's 2 minutes to play. The referee stopped it again. Now, what's the referee stopped it for? Is he giving it to PSG, I wonder? I think he might have handled it. I think he might have done, you know. Unless it was a foul throw. Anyway, it's a PSG throw. It's gone into the penalty area from their left-hand side. Abraham winning the header on halfway. Guinness gets it away, but not very far then. Bulgara now goes in. He goes down. Referee's not convinced that's a foul. And play on it is. And it's Dembele keeps his feet weirdly played. And the advantage is played. And a good effort there from Dembele with his left foot. Bizot diving away to his right. Did really, really well there to stop the shot and hold on to the ball very, very well. Well, on paper, PSG had the stronger side, but Villa have really given it a really good goal tonight. And whatever happens, the Villa fans should be justifiably proud of their team. There will be questions asked, of course, of the linesman on Doué's goal after 61 minutes, which looks like it's going to settle things here. But let's not write off Villa just yet. I've got to choose a player of the match now. And I'm going to go against convention. Normally, we give the player of the match usually to the winning side. And in normal circumstances, I would do that as we go into 5 added minutes. But I'm going to give it to Brian Maggio. And I'll tell you why I'm going to give it to Brian Maggio. Not only has he had a few chances to shine tonight, he's missed a few. But what he has done, he's not given up. His work rate has been exceptional. He's been tireless. He's running it tonight. Has been absolutely superb. He's got through a lot of work. It took a lot of guts to put a 17-year-old in there of his undoubted raw talent. But I'm going to give Villa a bit of consolation. I'm going to give the man of the match to Brian Maggio. And his goal was brilliantly taken as well with his left foot. Brilliant performance. Might end in defeat, but Brian Maggio is my player of the match. Right, we're into 5 added minutes at the end of this one. PSG look like they're going to get the victory here. But there will be questions asked of the officials maybe on that possible winning goal. But there's still time yet. 1 out of 5 have elapsed. But PSG have possession and not going to relinquish it that easy. That you can be assured of. Retiring Aston Villa out here. But Villa trying to get back possession, just can't get a foot on the ball. Now Barkley does. PSG have got sufficient numbers back, and Villa will have to play between the lines now. Here's Abraham. Just dragged out to the right-hand side a little bit. Now looking for this equalising goal. Bulgara now to Barkley. Now then, big opportunity now for Hemmings. He's shown in glimpses George Hemmings, and he's a decent Town coming forward. Now Matson. Mings has gone out to the left-hand side. Villa may as well go for it now. Throw everything at it, but they're just going backwards. Someone has to be daring now for Villa. Will Bogarda be daring for Villa? Buendia, who showed some good touches tonight himself, the Argentinian. Surely something has to come now for Cash. And Cash dispossesses the player on the byline. But it comes to nothing for Villa. I don't think it's going to be their night, to be honest. But they know, I think there's a lot of positives, but even if they don't carry off the trophy tonight, which now, with time maybe in a way, increasingly looks like that's going to be the case. But there's lots of positives for Unai Emery to take away from this, because they've got plenty to look forward to this season. They shouldn't be too disappointed. I know they'll be absolutely act off with the goal. The second PSG goal, was it offside or whether it's not? But when you look at the bigger picture, the Premier League to come, and obviously they're going to be in the hunt for new signings. Some big players have been let go, of course. And more so the Yuri Tillemans, who was at the hub of their brilliant run to the Europa League trophy. They won quite superbly last season. They've just under 2 minutes now to take this to a penalty competition. At the moment, with the way the scores are at the moment, there is no necessity for a penalty shootout. Unless Villa can score in the remaining, minute and a half that remains, then PSG's name will be etched onto the trophy for a second year running. And they keep possession rather well now. And here's an opportunity now for PSG as Hakimi comes charging in from the right-hand side, but Bizot clean as a whistle, straight out, narrowed the angle and covered superbly. Took the ball cleanly. Mings has to get it back to his goalkeeper. PSG now defending from the front. 1 minute remains here. And PSG look as if they're going to defeat another English club in a European final. They did it to Arsenal earlier on this year, and they won the European Cup on penalties. But here comes Matson. Villa not finished yet. They might get an equaliser, and the header goes wide. It was Eddie Buendia who charged in towards the edge of the 6-yard area, nodded it wide of the left-hand post, and that might be the last chance for Villa gone. But still, as I say, lots of positives for Villa to take out of this one. PSG will certainly get the glory, and Aston Villa can take a lot of pride and a lot of plaudits for the way they've played tonight. On paper, when we looked at the lineups, it looked as if it was going to be a PSG avalanche. Not a bit of it. But wait a minute, here's Barkley running in the area. They still might get something here. Barkley goes down. He's not going to get a penalty for that, I'm afraid. We've played 15 minutes over the allotted time, and Emery showing a bit of urgency, but it's too late. PSG have won the UEFA Super Cup for the second year running. Doué with the winning goal, a controversial winning goal, it must be said. And Villa, it must be said, are crestfallen, but should not be ashamed of their performance. The Parisians reign here in Austria. They're doing the Poznan forwards now, the PSG fans, not backwards like the Manchester City boys do. That's the man who scored the goal, Doué, just walking over to his fans. Mutual respect between two Spanish counterparts, Unai Emery and Luis Enrique. John McGinn, very gracious in defeat, it must be said. Well, it's Marquinhos who's going to get his name on the hands on the Super Cup in a few minutes' time. Villa beaten, but not disgraced. That scarf says it all, back to back, it said there. Well, let me tell you, it wasn't achieved without a fight. Kvaratskhelia, a long time ago, put PSG ahead with a super goal on 20 minutes. Nem Maggio, who was my player of the match, equalising on the 45th minute mark. But that goal from Doué, controversial because for my money, and I'm only seeing it from my point of view, it looked at least a yard or two offside. But it was allowed to be played on. The VAR said that the arm of, or the leg of Cash was playing him on. And such fine margins, as we all say in this game, our match is decided on. But Villa can count themselves desperately unlucky not to have won the Super Cup tonight, because, or even unlucky not to even take him to penalties, because let's face it, they played well enough on the night to be given that opportunity from 12 to at least win the game from 12 yards, but it wasn't to be. And Luca Dean didn't get on the field, but he's put one over his older players in a lot of respects. So we see the name of Paris Saint-Germain being engraved on this European Super Cup. So the Champions League winners beat the Europa League winners. And Humar Henry saying, come on lads, it's not all that bad. You've given it your all. You've just come up against a better side possibly on the night. And real mutual respect from Luca Dean towards his old teammates there. That's a nice touch as the podiums are being built now. It won't be too long before the presentation, I hope. And then as soon as we do the trophy list and everything else that goes with it, we will be finishing for the evening. But great performance. I thought it was an entertaining game. Let's take out the controversies and the yellow cards and everything else that went before it. I actually thought for sort of a curtain raiser game, if you like, a Super Cup or a Charity Shield game, it wasn't your typical pre-season showpiece, because I thought it was a game that was played at a very good pace. It was a good entertaining game, lots of good skills from both sides. And I think a lot of credit should go to both sets of players in terms of good skill factor, good performance, good energetic performance, and the English football. So many of these pre-season games, like the Charity Shield and the UEFA Super Cup, usually don't have that open feel to it, but it had a good open feel to it tonight. I thought it was a good game of football. It's just a shame that it had to be decided on a controversial decision, VAR decision. But yeah, I think Villa can count themselves desperately unlucky not to at least have had a chance in a penalty shootout. But PSG, despite their lack of pre-season warm-up games, just about did enough. Plenty to look forward to Villa. Obviously, they need to get a few bods through the door because their squad does look painfully thin in terms of actual class numbers. But I think we've seen a good talent here. I think we've seen a very good talent up front for Villa tonight. I have to say, Brian Maggio, my man of the match. I thought he was, as I said, I thought he was excellent. We're just waiting for the trophy list, folks, here as we await now. Alisson, the Brazilian, who had a few minutes but didn't really do that much. Bogada as well. It's all ending on a very good spirit. No arguing. Luis Enrique and Pau Torres sharing a laugh or two with her as well. In fact, the trophy that Manchester United won incidentally was the Boyle Sports Cup. And I'm just reading a comment from Mike Arneman that about the friendly games. The weirdest one was the weekend just gone. Arsenal had lost 3-2 to Borussia Dortmund and then proceeded to win a penalty shootout. How do you work that one out? Anyway, we're just waiting for the trophy list. We'll bring you that live for you in a few moments' time. And then when we're done there, we'll be saying our farewells for the first real domestic trophy of the season. Won tonight. Possibly controversial circumstances by Paris Saint-Germain, but they do have a good squad, and they're going to be favourites for the Champions League. There's no question about that. I think There's no doubt at all. Villa will definitely add to their numbers in the next few weeks, that's for sure. Up until the end of the month, I think. The squad will be boasted a lot. And the money they've got for the likes of Yuri Tielemans and a couple of others who have left in the window just gone. Of course, they've had to play this game without Ollie Watkins and no Annie Martinez. Thank you, Russ. It's great to be back, and hopefully you'll hear a few more games from me throughout the course of the season. I'll be mainly doing the Premier League, a bit of EFL, EFL Cup and FA Cup games throughout the course of the season. We're still waiting for the trophy left here in Salzburg. I don't know why they take long over these trophy lists. Get the podium up, get the trophy ready. Let's get on with it. What I will say is the referees and the officials will get their medals first. Then it will be the runners-up Aston Villa. And then Marquinhos will be at the back end of the line. And we'll lift. And we'll see the trophy lift. And you'll hear the trophy lift here live on the TC Hub in a few moments. The Parisians, some of them have got no shirts on, shirtless supporters. It is a hot night. I'd be worried if it was minus 30 degrees though. One or two getting some interviews in now before the presentation. Desiree doing the match winner. I wonder how everyone made of that goal. Was it offside? Was it not? Certainly from my viewpoint, I have to say it did look offside to me, but maybe I'm just an old has-been when it comes to the offside law. Maybe I'm a bit of an old dinosaur when it comes to that sort of thing. But nevertheless, when you take out that emotion of the offside, whether it was or not, what you can't argue with was the finish itself. It was a really good finish. Well, they've won the European Cup twice in a row. And then now they've won the UEFA Super Cup twice in a row. There's Alexander Seferin, the president of UEFA. And let's take the controversies of the officiating out of the equation. These guys who should, in my opinion, have refereed at the World Cup thanks to some utter incompetence by Gianni Infantino and Donald Trump, never got the chance. But I'm pleased he's going to get a medal. Yes, he made one or two mistakes, but all referees make mistakes. But I think he did a good job. He's certainly trying to let the game flow as much as he possibly could, Mr. Atan. And there's no doubt in my mind, despite a couple of the controversial decisions going against Villa tonight, I thought he handled the game reasonably well. And I can understand why there's a big clamour for him as one of the best referees, certainly in African football. But he definitely deserves his medal. I think we can't be too critical of him after what he missed out on in the summer. Nice gesture from UEFA to give him that match. And I hope that medal really makes up for a lot of disappointments him and his officiating team had. And yes, they deserve their picture. So now pose for a picture or two. A proud moment for those African officials who, as I said, if Donald Trump wasn't so bloody pig-headed and bloody-minded, they would have been refereeing at the World Cup just gone. Right now, the runners-up, Aston Villa, being applauded by sections of the Villa fans who have stayed behind to watch them receive their runners-up medals from Alex Seferin, the president of UEFA, led, of course, by their brilliant manager, Unai Emery. This was always going to be bonus time for them. If they won it, it would have been a nice bonus for them, but they've still won the UEFA Cup last season, their first trophy in 30 years, and there's a lot of happy Villa fans despite the defeat, because I thought in a lot of respects their performance tonight, they did British football proud. And especially I think we've unearthed a possible English talent in young 17-year-old Ryan Maggio. My man in the match, I had to choose him because I thought not only did he have lots of good chances and he took his equalising goals so well, I thought his boundless running, his tireless running, I thought separated him from the rest of them tonight. And that's why I chose him as the player of the match. There's a few disappointed faces, but I don't think they're too disappointed. I mean, they came here. It wasn't going to be a strong team, but they offered a lot to the game, I thought, in terms of the game and the way it went. There's Any Brandia, who showed some nice touches himself tonight, getting his runners-up medal. And of course, well done to the PSG boys for giving Villa a guard of honour when they went up to get their medals. But there's the man in the moment, Luis Enrique. His team will be favourites for everything and sundry this season coming, you can rest assured of that. They'll be favourites to win the Ligue 1 in France. They'll be favourites to win the Champions League, of course. And the domestic French trophy, domestic French knockout cup as well. But they are the best team, undisputedly, in Europe. There's no question about that. We've got some very talented players. They've lost a few, of course, but they've kept the best ones, like Ousmane Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, who I thought was, on another night, would have got man in the match. But I really didn't, apart from the goal and one or two other incidences, I didn't think he did that much to warrant the man in the match award over Maggio. But they're the winners. Hakimi there as well, the Moroccan, who just played at the World Cup for Morocco. They did okay tonight, Paris, considering they've had 2 warm-up games prior to this. They didn't do too badly. And there's the man at the back of the queue, Marquinhos, receiving his medal from Alexander Seferin, the president of the UEFA. And in just a few moments' time, he's going to, Mr. Seferin will hand Mr. Marquinhos the UEFA Super Cup. Marquinhos takes it away, comes off one podium, comes off that podium, and will walk casually to the other one. To join his teammates. And now he's about to lift it high into the Austrian sky. Paris Saint-Germain have won the UEFA Super Cup for 2026. And what a good start to the new club, European club season. A good game of football. Maybe it was won very controversially by Doué's goal after 61 minutes, but in spells tonight, Paris did look a good side, but understandably were a bit leggy and certainly lacking a little bit of match sharpness that just had the quality just about in the end to see the job home if you take the emotions and the controversies aside. No disgrace for Aston Villa at all. They gave it their best shot, but in the end, the strength of that PSG team was probably one of the main reasons why they got the victory over Villa. But well, let's wait for their first Super Cup since 1983. Will go on for at least another year unless they, by some miracle, win the Champions League. But they've got plenty to look forward to, Aston Villa, this season. The Champions League being one of those things. Remember, they reached the quarterfinals a couple of seasons ago. And if they'd not lost that first leg 3-1, I think they might have gone through that night. But they got enough headaches for Luis Enrique to think about, that's for sure. I think it's relief more than anything else. PSG, they make their way off the podium here in Salzburg. The confetti is strewed everywhere across the pitch. PSG will start their lap of honour in a minute. But it was only a narrow victory. But I thought the football served up tonight was very good. A decent standard between two sides. We've only played 7 games, 7 pre-season warm-ups between them. I actually thought the standard of football on display tonight was good, and it's nice to see even the Villa players going over to their supporters and giving them thanks for supporting them on a night like this. So that's about it from me tonight. Can I just say a great big thank you to my colleague Nicholas Jones alongside me, who's been producing the show for us tonight. I've got to say thank you to him. And he also says ideas maybe include the National League and some European leagues, and that's it, he decided sometime in the future. Let's hope we do extend our coverage a little bit, because we can give you a bit of everything on the TC Hub. But I hope you've enjoyed the coverage tonight. And before I go, just one bit of housekeeping before I leave you tonight, and that's our next live game. Our next live offering comes from Molineux. As the Championship season kicks off in earnest, we've got Wolverhampton Wanderers back in the league after 8 years away. They take on one of the favourites for relegation in terms of that, but they've got Tony Mowbray back as their manager, Blackburn Rovers. You'll be able to hear that with us around about 5 to 8 on Friday night, with a kick-off at 8 o'clock. That's on Friday. But tonight here in Paris, Villa give it their all. They've unearthed. We've also come across a great talent in 17-year-old Brian Maggio, who had a magnificent game and deservedly, in my opinion, got player of the match. A controversial goal won it for PSG. Was it offside? Was it onside? They got the benefit of the decision and held on to beat Villa by 2-1 and win the Super Cup. From me, JB, and producer Nicholas, it's a very good night to you all, and I'll see you very soon. Good night for you all. Good night to you all.